Welcome to this edition of The Forum. I'm your host, Shelia Evans. Here on The Forum, we highlight interesting and important achievements, programs, and events within our school system and community. Today's show is no exception. Things get underway with George Edwards. He is the Executive Director of the Historic Wilmington Foundation. May is National Preservation Month, and he will tell us about several events taking place in our area. Then we will meet with Alice Moore, Social Work Supervisor with the New Hanover County Department of Social Services. May is also National Foster Care Month, and she will talk about foster care in our community. And finally, Matthew Treisch, Lead Athletic Trainer for New Hanover County Schools, stops by to tell us about details on the upcoming free athletic pre-participation screening exams. It's another great edition of The Forum, so stick around and we'll get right back with our guests after this short break.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
So nice out here.
Yeah, I used to come out here when I was a kid. Nothing.
No, I definitely heard something.
Look! Who's that?
Let's get out of here! What are you doing? Shut the door!
Okay, let's go.
He's trying to act!
He does? I'm sorry! Come on, baby!
What is that doing?
Think history is a little scary? Then log on to loc.gov and see how much fun it can be. The Library of Congress at loc.gov.
My next guest is George Edwards, Executive Director of the Historic Wilmington Foundation, and May is National Preservation Month. First of all, tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Well, I'd be happy to, Sheila. Thank you for having me on the show this
Sure.
morning. Historic Wilmington Foundation is a local historic preservation advocacy education organization. We offer an array of programs to the community. Educational programs with walking tours for third graders. Tar Heels Go Walking. You and I were chatting about that a moment ago. Some walking tours of our historic neighborhoods. We do workshops. We do a lot of advocacy. Right now we're working on trying to get the North Carolina tax credits back into play again in this great state. We work with our local officials. We buy and sell property to save it. So we're engaged in a lot of things to make this community strong and to make preservation a foundation for our future. And that is why we come to National Preservation Month, which is an annual national celebration of the virtues of historic preservation. And I think we feel like it ought to be Preservation Month every month.
There you go.
But this is a chance nationally to link with other organizations and the National Trust for Historic Preservation to have a common effort across the country to highlight what's going on into a community. And I'll tell you in a moment some other things that we do to make Preservation Month a highlight of the Wilmington, New Hanover County community.
Is there a theme that unites you all?
Well, this year there is a theme, and
good.
the National Trust asked us to develop local themes, and so our theme, and I just played on it a moment ago, is Preservation, the Foundation for the Future. And we believe that it is a great theme because historic preservation has enriched this community. It's a great tool for regenerating our neighborhoods and our downtown. It has brought great value into the community. It has stabilized our neighborhoods. It has recycled existing resources, and it's a wonderful catalyst for bringing heritage travelers in here, heritage tourists. And so that's the theme that we're using here locally to celebrate all the accomplishments of this city and this community and this really this region for preservation.
Gotcha. Tell us about some of the highlights you have going on this month.
Well, in the month of May, we will have a wonderful awards program on the 21st of May at the New Hanover County Courthouse, where we'll celebrate individual excellence with rehab, with leadership, with various programs. We will have to, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, release our most threatened places, our list of most threatened historic places late in the month of May. We will have our guided architectural neighborhood walking tours. We'll have a lecture on the rehabilitation restoration of the Governor Dudley on May 12th. And we will work with our local governments to do proclamations across the region for Preservation Month. So full calendar. Every year it's a full calendar.
Well, good. Tell us a little more about the most threatened places.
Well, the most threatened places is an initiative that we started approximately 10 years ago to solicit nominations from across the region from people who are concerned about threats to historic cemeteries, old buildings, churches, things that they thought would be lost and the community would be poorer for their loss. We then take all those nominations, evaluate, and we choose anywhere from 5 to 10 sites every year, release that as a threatened places list, try to put a real spotlight on those places with publicity, with suggestions to owners about how to save and rehabilitate, sometimes helping to sell a property. And it has been a good device to bring, I think, very needed attention to our resources. We have helped save places across the region. Regretfully, we've also lost some places in that time too.
And it travels.
Oh.
Where does it travel?
Well, the exhibit itself, once the
Right.
list is released, it is turned into an exhibit. Thank you.
That's okay.
It's turned into a wonderful exhibit, very professional exhibit that goes out across our region. It starts in New Hanover County, then it goes to typically to Pender County libraries. It goes to the public libraries of those two counties, and then it comes into the city and goes to Thalian Hall and to the Randall Library at the university, and then it goes back out on its last leg to the public libraries in Brunswick County. And conservatively, we feel like 40 to 50,000 people will get a chance to walk by this exhibit during the 9 months it's out on the road, which helps keep the discussion about the value of our heritage alive and in our communities, and I think brings some pressure on these sites and help save them.
Well, it sounds like a great awareness tool.
It is, very good awareness tool.
Very good. The events, do they cost money? Is there a fee for any of them?
Most of the events during the month are free, so we encourage people to go to our website, historicwilmington.org, give us a call, 762-2511, check it out, join us for the event. We do have a friend raiser at Elijah's on the River on the 28th of May, and that has a charge. And we're going to take, and I failed to mention this a moment ago, we're going to take a great tour on May 31st, Sunday afternoon. We're going into Bladen and Columbus County to see historic sites, some historic plantations never before visited, some old historic churches, and a Rosenwald school, which has been on our threatened places list. And that's going to have a fee because we'll go out on a bus trip. It'll be a fun afternoon, a great way to explore our heritage and history and get a firsthand view of those sites.
So that's on the 31st.
31st of May.
And have you done much out in that area?
We have not done much. Technically, our service area is Pender, Brunswick, and New Hanover County, but we've always answered questions and reached out to help people in the surrounding areas in Bladen and Columbus. And these sites were made available to us, and so we're going to go out and highlight them. We want to keep preservation discussions alive in this whole region. We want people to look at the value of our heritage and how it enriches our lives and how it makes that foundation for our future.
Right.
And how historic buildings need to be a part of our everyday existence, and that's why we're going to tour these sites.
Well, that's very cool.
Thank you.
What will that tour look like?
Well, it'll be an afternoon.
Okay.
We'll go out in a group in a bus so that we can have a speaker on the bus
Very
who will
good.
talk about the history of the sites, the development patterns. We'll get there, and then people will have a chance to tour the site independently, as well as have a guide there who will talk about
Nice.
the development patterns. One of these plantation sites dates to the 18th century. We're talking 1700s development along the river when that was the highway.
Oh, yeah.
The historic churches or 19th century churches, a historic African American Baptist church, and a historic United Methodist, historically white United Methodist church. Then we'll go out to the Rosenwald School, a little bit removed there in Bladen County, but the Rosenwald School was that great community effort by African American communities to create facilities for their children against really incredible odds. It's a great story of perseverance of our African American citizens in the early 20th century when segregation kept them out of the larger school system sometimes. So we'll celebrate that achievement and personal triumph by seeing the Rosenwald School.
Very cool. Very cool. New event. Where can folks go if they need some information?
They can always come to our website, historicwilmington.org. They can always call us, 910-762-2511. We
Excellent.
will have print material. We'll have a mass email. We'll also do some Twitter feeds. We try to get into all the social media,
Excellent.
and we'll be on Facebook. So you just need to check out all of those various sites and learn more about the events. As I
Nice.
said, most of them are free. The trip on the 31st will have a fee, and the friend raiser at Elijah's has a fee, but everything else is free. We want
Excellent.
people to enjoy.
Well, George, thanks for giving us your month full of packed activities.
It's packed. Every
Excellent.
May I feel like we run, but it's for a good cause.
There you go.
Thank you, Sheila.
We'll be back in just a few minutes after these messages.
we went down to Mexico to build a kitchen for a church so that we could feed the children. These children don't have anybody to take care of them. We gave them the attention and the love that they just don't have. Once you get a taste of giving, it's a satisfaction that goes into the deepest part of your soul that you don't get from drugs.
What state am I?
I'm known as the land of 10,000 lakes. The Twin Cities, major centers for manufacturing, are located here. The common loon is my state bird. Do you know who I am? If you've guessed Minnesota, you're right. I received statehood in 1858.
This United States factoid has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
My next guest is Alice Moore. She is the foster care supervisor at New Hanover County Department of Social Services. And May is National Foster Care Month, so we're here to talk a little bit about that. Tell us, Alice, why there's a need for foster care.
Sure. There's a need for foster care because there are times where it's not safe for children to be home due to allegations of abuse or neglect. And if the court finds that the children are unable to remain home and there's no relatives available, then our department becomes involved and we have to place the children in a licensed foster home.
Gotcha. How many families do you think we have in New Hanover County?
Our agency has about 105, 106 licensed foster homes.
Nice.
And then there are another 80-ish privately licensed foster homes that are licensed through private agencies in New Hanover County. But the state of North Carolina is actually the one that issues the foster license and oversees all of the licensing regulations and guidelines.
Gotcha. And then there's a difference between a regular foster home and a therapeutic?
Yes.
Can you talk to that just a little bit?
Sure. A therapeutic foster home is a family that has received additional training on behavior management, medication management, and the children that they foster may have more special needs, emotional needs, educational needs, behavioral needs, and so there's a higher level of care that those children need.
Okay. Tell us the process that someone goes through to become a foster parent.
Sure. To become a foster parent, you have to be willing to open up your home to children in need. There is a 30-hour training class that our agency offers 4 times a year. There's a home study process. We ask the family to have health physicals from the doctor, fire safety inspection, we run criminal background checks, and it's about a 3 to 6 month process. And it is a pretty involved process because we want to get to know the foster family and we want them to get to know us.
Right. As far as the home study, what does that look like?
Sure, it's a social worker would be coming out, meeting all of the family members, asking about your childhood, your employment, if you have your own kids, talking to your own kids to see how they feel about the family becoming a foster family.
Okay. Tell me what you think are some of the rewards of being a foster family.
Sure. Our families tell us that the biggest rewards are caring for children in need and seeing these children grow and flourish and become better students, become healthier, and just being able to give back. Another reward that we hear is seeing children reunited with their families. Reunited with siblings, reunited with relatives. That's a big reward. And for some foster families, they end up keeping these children and adopting them, and they would tell us that that's been a big reward.
Sure, sure. Are you able to keep kids together often?
We try, but we're always in need of more foster homes that can take in sibling groups.
Gotcha.
Sometimes we'll have a sibling group of 3 or 4 or 5.
Oh, that is a lot.
And it can be challenging to find a foster family that has the room and the space and the ability to take on all of the children. So we always have a need for families that can take on sibling groups.
And each child has to have their own bed, is that correct?
They do.
Okay.
They do. They can share a room, but they have to have their own bed.
Gotcha.
Yes.
How about challenges of being a foster parent or family?
Sure. The biggest challenge we hear is letting go.
Oh, well, that's a good one.
We ask our foster families to open up their hearts and their homes and treat foster children just like their own. And then we ask them to let go and say goodbye, and that's probably got to be the toughest thing ever. So I think being a foster parent, it's a really special person that can do it, and we're thankful that we have so many wonderful foster families that can do it.
And how do you, as DSS, support the families?
Sure. We, every foster family has their own licensing social worker, so they have a in-house social worker that is there for them.
Nice.
Foster parents do receive a monthly financial stipend from the state and from the county. Children in foster care receive Medicaid. The department pays for child care if the foster parents work.
Okay.
We do have an active foster parent association that meets once a month. We provide in-service trainings for our foster families. And then we try and do events throughout the year for them. May is foster care month, so we'll have a picnic this year and a celebration.
Fun.
November is adoption month, so we do an event every November. At Christmas time, we do a holiday skating party, and then the community helps out with getting gifts for foster children.
Very nice. What is the first step in becoming a foster parent?
To give us a call. All they need to do is call the department at 798-3400 and ask to speak with the child placement unit, and we will assign them to a licensing worker, and that's where it starts.
Do we have a real need for new foster parents here in New Hanover County?
We do. We always have a need because we lose foster parents at about the same rate we gain them.
Oh, wow.
We have some foster families that move away, have family obligations that come up, that adopt children in their home. So we find that we lose them at about the same rate we gain them. So yes, we always have a need.
Do you feel like some families adopt and then continue to foster others?
They do.
Nice.
They do. And we've had foster families that have adopted multiple children, that have adopted sibling groups. We had a foster family that adopted a sibling group of 4.
Wow.
So we do. We sure do.
Do the children get to stay at their home school if they're placed in foster care?
We try. We try as best we can to keep them at their home school or any other community-based services that they already have. The school system helps us out with the McKinney-Vento Act, which is really helpful in being able to provide a bus service to the children to their home school. So we tried to do that as best as we can.
Because they've been, for whatever reason, couldn't be at home, and now
Correct.
to take that away from them as well.
Correct.
Do you get involved in the school work with the children at all? Meaning, you know, just checking in with the school to make sure everything's going okay and
We
such?
do. The social workers for the children check in with the teachers, attend IEP meetings. The foster parents attend those meetings and stay involved with the school as well.
So the responsibilities for the foster parent are very much the same as being the parent.
Exactly.
Very good.
Exactly.
Well, great. Well, good luck with your picnic. Is it outside?
It is.
Good luck for good weather.
Thank you.
And I'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
Pearl S. Buck was the third American to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature. She is best known for her novels based in China. Her second novel, The Good Earth, based on the fluctuating fortunes of a peasant family, brought her much success. In addition to her literary achievements, Buck was a great humanitarian, contributing largely to orphans and children with disabilities. This background in literature has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools.
Hey, Zachary.
Ready?
You looking good? Great hit.
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete? 1 in 16,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. You know the odds of autism. Now learn the signs. Go to autismspeaks.org.
I'm joined by Matthew Trish. He's the lead athletic trainer for New Hanover County Schools. And our topic today are those pre-participation free screenings for the student athletes for next year.
Yes.
Where do they take place? Give us some of the details.
Well, first, the dates are, for the boys, they're going to be May 21st,
Okay.
which is Thursday, and the girls will be June 4th, which is also on a Thursday.
Okay.
And we moved the boys first. We just had to do it recently, a big change because of this new high school association football practice, spring football practice law, where they have a set amount of days. And so we were coming into the problem with the old ones would expire,
Oh,
and
okay,
then there
okay.
would be a period of a few days where they may not be able to get one. And then instead of, maybe missing or messing up one practice night, we figured versus half the kids missing, 6
Get them
days
all
of
done at
practice.
one time and
Yes.
they're all good.
And so those are the dates. It is located at 2029 South 17th Street, right next to the Hanover Regional Medical Center.
Okay, so at the health department.
Yeah, so literally it's right next to it. Parking lot's there. They've actually moved it to a different building this year, but it's on the same premises.
Gotcha.
And so it's just, there'll be signs and directions to where you enter this year.
Now, did you say the girls is June 24th?
I'm sorry, June, the girls is June 4th.
Oh, okay,
on a
okay.
Thursday, yes.
Well, you might have said the 4th. It could be me.
Okay. No, June
Because my
4th.
question was going to be, but school's out. What
No,
does
it's
happen
June
if somebody
4th.
can't make one of those days?
They unfortunately cannot alternate the days. It's the only time of the year that we offer a free screening.
But they could go to a private physician if
Yes,
they
they
needed
can
to,
go
or
to-
make an appointment maybe at the health department if they had to?
Yes, they would probably call the health department. I'm not sure if they do free physical
Okay.
screenings or any kind of physical screenings at any other time of year, but they can make an appointment with any of their own primary care physicians to get it done. Any urgent care does it. There's actually some
Yeah.
urgent cares that offer a special for the students that at a lower price if they need to do it right
You
away.
are right. I have done that. Very good. Okay. We talked about where they take place. They're free of charge. Who can attend?
Any student in the county who is a middle school aged or a high school aged. And this actually includes the private schools in the Hanover County.
Oh,
So we
I didn't
do
know that.
extend it to the private schools. They are allowed, it's just the age is, you have to be a middle school or high school. We do not do it for the elementary school students at this point.
Okay.
And so as long as you're in the county and you attend a school, it's all, just come and show up at the day that we, set for you.
Okay. What do they need to bring to the screening?
They need to bring the physical form, which is actually on the website. If you go onto the Hanover County Schools website and click Parents
Okay.
under there, you go under Athletics, and then on the left side there'll actually be a button you can click that says pre-participation exam form. So you print that off.
Very good.
And they must bring the page 1 completely filled out. They have to have the parents filled out, especially if they're minors. So starting at the first top of the form, you got to fill out all. There's 25 boxes that you got to ask questions for, and then at the bottom, the most important part is they will not let them in unless the parent and the student have signed it and dated the bottom of the form. If they see that, they'll unfortunately either make the parent come back to the exam screening or they'll reject them.
So they don't have to have the parent with them, but they have to have the
No.
form signed by the parent.
Yes, the parent won't have to go through the line
Okay.
with them, but they do need to have that form perfectly filled out.
Okay. What happens if an athletic screening gets disqualified?
That's when we get a lot of them now. There's a few laws going in effect with sudden cardiac arrest, so things are more strict now. So let's say you have an athlete who probably comes in with maybe an elevated blood pressure or an elevated heart rate, or they have found some kind of heart murmur, that wasn't detected in the past. They will what we call disqualify, where they'll have to disqualify. We'll flag it. We will actually, if their parents are at the site, we will go out physically and walk out to find their parents, bring them in and discuss with them why they were disqualified. And then if not, the health department always sends a letter home and a phone call to the household. And then what happens is they'll have to take that physical form and go to their own primary care physician and get an actual full exam just to make sure everything's okay. Because these are just called screenings, so if there's anything we do this to flag anything serious so they can make sure that everything gets checked out safely by a more thorough exam. So that's what we have. And we get we say maybe 10% of the participants will have some kind of disqualification now.
And they need to go on for further care? Or?
Yes, they'll just,
Okay.
and hopefully they can get it, we'll notify them right away and they can probably get it done within a day or two, and then most of the time they're cleared. But it's just, to make sure that we're actually
to be safe,
not missing something.
So with the 2 dates, if a male can't make his date, can he go to the female date and vice versa?
Unfortunately, no, and,
Okay.
and that's that's an understandable rule. So unfortunately, try to plan it. Hopefully, the kids will try to plan ahead and make sure that their schedule's free for those dates. So we've had parents call, and the problem is we let one student in to change the date, then we need to let them all in.
Right.
And then it turns into with HIPAA laws and just the setup of the health department, it just turns into something that could be a little uncomfortable for some of the students that are actually taking the exams.
Are the physical forms at the school offices as well?
Yes, most schools have them in the front office.
Okay.
The athletic trainers of the high schools have them. Also the web page, you can print them off on your own, but all you gotta do is ask the office,
Right,
and they
just
can
in
direct
case.
you to either the coach or the athletic director or the athletic trainer, and we can print them off or give you a copy.
My printer wasn't
And they're-
working today, so that made me think about that.
Well, there's also, they actually have the forms at the health department, but unless the parents are there, then they're, it's kind of a iffy
That's
situation.
a bad thing to
without-
rely
yeah.
on.
Yeah, last minute, so hopefully they'll try to get them in before that.
Anything else you think we need to know about it?
Just remember the dates. Boys, May 21st on a Thursday, and girls are June 4th on a Thursday.
Okay, so both before
And
school
those,
gets out.
we sent out an original media release and the dates were switched, but then we had it came to our attention that we needed to switch the boys
Right,
first.
well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, well, Matthew, thanks for coming by and making
Thank
sure
you.
we have those dates and what they need to bring with them.
All right, sounds good.
We'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
Impossible. When you open a book, you can explore new lands, meet new friends, and discover new adventures. There are amazing possibilities when you open your mind to reading. You can log on to the Library of Congress website and let the journey begin.
Little trash becomes big trash. So please, don't litter.
Do your part to keep America beautiful.
We hope you've enjoyed our program today. For more information on the Historic Wilmington Foundation and their upcoming events, go to www.historicwilmington.org or call 762-2511. To learn more about foster care here in New Hanover County, you can call 798-3566 or visit social services at nhcgov.com/foster-care. And to find out more about the free athletic pre-participation screening exams, you can go to www.nhcs.net/forms/athletic.pdf. And again, if you ever have any questions about the topics discussed here on our program today, please call the school system's public relations office at 254-4180. I'm Shelia Evans, and thanks for joining me today.